Should we play some prolonged D&D? What do you think?
Is it still prolonged? Have we been? It's like I really lose track of time up here.
Time has been moving very slowly.
I want to assure you, subscribers, that it's a moving target. If we do the show 52 weeks a year, as we have been, like, sometimes it's just going to be. And look, here's the thing. Where are you going to take your business? Garrison Keillor? Uh-oh.
Too late.
Looks like the throne is empty. Sounds like someone's the king of boring broadcasts. Maybe I'll do a film noir parody for 6 hours.
Until you find
rhubarb pie.
Until the news drops that Spencer's been forcing potted plants to watch him jerk off for 5 years.
That's still legal, right? Is that out of fashion
It's certainly
yet?
legal.
Right.
I just don't know how that affects our business model.
Our podcast, I would like to say, is, well, I don't want to jinx it, but we are proofed against future allegations because I have spent 40 years just terrified of women. I may have treated them poorly. I certainly thought of them in my head wrongly, but no way. If I have thought about having a button installed on my desk that would lock my door to keep people out while I jerk off thinking about a mannequin. I will not hurt anyone. You will not find out I've hurt anyone. I am just scared. Jeff, too cocky. He would never.
I just like to get along with people.
Yeah. Spencer.
This seems like tempting fate, right?
Let's really tap that bee's nest.
Well, I was going to do comedy comes in threes because I was going to say something like Spencer never leaves evidence. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm also terrified of women.
Spencer, no loose ends, Crittenden.
That's what we call him. Old 50-gallon drum Crittenden.
When I think of things I did wrong, I remember in 7th grade, there was a hair on the back of this girl's shirt, and I wanted to take it off, but, I didn't do it. I touched her back instead, and then I was like, I'm the worst.
Oh man, I've done awful things that I look back on just to clear the air.
What did we just say?
Because I was jinxing it. I'm undoing the jinx.
It's a joke. It's a joke.
I'm sorry, when I was 19 years old, I went on a date with a girl, and I remember I pulled her back into the car for she clearly didn't wanna
like a Biff Tannen.
I feel horrified even say the thing
Sure.
is I don't on saying those words out loud. It's oh Jesus, you pull what you did what? But I never said the words out loud. It's but it's a thing that I did. I didn't it was just it wasn't hateful. It was, but it was I grabbed and I clinged and I was like, come on, don't go. So she decided the date was over.
Yeah.
So there's one. If we go back that far, and if they find out.
Also, you've been fucking everyone's mama for as long as this podcast has been going on. You've been pretty candid about that.
What else have I done?
I think you fucked someone's mama on the lawn. That was MC John.
I think if you get into ex-girlfriends, I just think, and definitely web bookmarks, I'm just in big trouble.
Are you complicit in victimization? Because otherwise, I think you're in the clear.
No, but when you hear about inappropriate behavior, that means the surf is getting close to my cabana.
Right.
Because I don't know what inappropriate behavior is. You just see that in the headline. I keep telling myself, well, I hope that means touching and forcing and things that have a clear line around them. Because if it starts to become well, that joke wasn't very funny, but he doubled down on it and he kept telling that joke, stuff that's a legitimate grievance. I don't know. There's probably people out there with stories.
That Al Franken thing, it's kind of weird. I was arguing with someone on Twitter about this, and I think they turned out to be right, but they were mad because people were kind of lumping the two allegations together, the groping allegation and the kissing allegation, and Al Franken has kind of denied the severity, although he apologized about the groping thing because it was like this was a staged photo or whatever. But then he kind of just said, as for the kiss, I don't remember that. But that's arguably a more egregious offense because it includes potentially forcing his tongue down into her mouth, which is like, that's pretty gross. And the person was saying that lumping them together means that wouldn't get taken separately, and then people would focus on the groping, which is easier to dismiss. And so you're kind of, dealing with it that way. But we really kind of don't talk about that part of it, which is, to me, a lot more aggressive.
I know, but every time we start talking about it, if we're saying anything other than, look, I did something, I'm thinking differently, whatever. Like you can only have these conversations about like what. Anything that mitigates the idea of a claim is like kind of, that's a hot stove for who knows how long. I don't know how long that stove will stay just like bright red hot. I'm not touching it.
I did. It was good.
I just think like
I've thought the same thoughts though.
It's obviously a bummer
because one thing is hearsay and one thing is like. But I talked about that last week where it was like the weird thing about it is that I felt I found myself becoming like a weird liberal version of a Roy Moore supporter,
right.
Almost like in this it's like a microcosm thing because it was like as soon as I started freaking out about net neutrality and thinking that there was a political reason for any of this, then I immediately started going like, well, what if this woman's just lying?
Right.
And the phrase "what if this woman's just lying" has to be my rule to my game I'm playing is that's not a conch that's available.
Yeah.
That's behind glass for about 5 years.
But you don't have
whenever
to be
I hear the all clear.
Like you're not advertising that though. You're just explaining your thought process. If thoughts enter your head, that's just kind of, you can't stop that. It's how you deal with those thoughts. And I don't think you've been like,
that's why I would put a button
people
on my desk that locked my door. Can't control thoughts.
I just think like
thinking here.
When I went
but just to be clear, again, it's to keep people out, not to keep people in.
when I went to the University of Southern California, like I stayed in a dorm where a lot of film student kids were, and mostly guys that I met anyway. If those guys, a lot of whom were rich kids that are going to go on to have like lots of access and lots of power in the film community, if they ever were going to be the Harvey Weinstein-y kind of gropey, rapey, asshole, gross guy, I think there's a huge part of like men going into positions of power, whether it's government or film, and like I can control what women do. Like I can make them. I have.
You can
power.
tell them to do things.
Yeah, I can make them do things that they might not want to do because I'm in a position to affect their lives and careers. I don't care how many people have to fucking go down with the ship of like all these allegations right now. I would like to think that if you're in a film school right now and you're a young man going through film school and thinking of being a producer or a director, you watch your fucking step now, because if you do anything that's cause for fucking retirement, like instantly.
If you haven't thought about it, and that's maybe one of the reasons that you haven't thought about as a reason why you want to rap or make movies or ride a unicycle, or I think that like for guys it can be a super unspoken, super unchallenged thing. Like
well, society signals that that's what we should be doing too.
It's something that we've been allowed to not think about for like 60,000 years.
There's been no sword of Damocles over your head. Like you were allowed to do it, and the worst case scenario that you had a reputation.
But I mean, the media has said the signal that you're a downtrodden protagonist because you don't have a job and you don't have a girl, and then you go through a journey and you get a job and that gets you a girl, and that's succeeding at life. That's what we tell people they should do. You should get a job because a job will get you a girl. And that's, and there's no agency in that. But I think that that's the signal we've been saying through storytelling for years and years. And, we're only just starting to realize those are the signals we've been sending, and that's not necessarily what we should be doing. Although that's still mainly the story underlying a lot of stories is they go and do some task that then gives them professional acumen in a woman.
Well,
Go ahead.
No, we were talking about that the other day, too. Like, that's the 80s movie thing where you're supposed to root for the underdog who's still a white man, but he is like the beta male, and his enemy, he's the default, he's the base of like the lowest you can be as a nerd in a school. And even if you're white and straight and affluent, like you deserve whatever you're able to get. So if you're able to beat the jock, then the getting the girl is your prize and you've earned it. Like you're saying the same thing.
Yeah, and even in the most woke 80s culture, it's like the alpha males Aryan girlfriend who's classically beautiful that the nerd protagonist wants the whole movie is then the third act as he realizes that he should have the woman that he had the whole time, his best friend who's got maybe shorter, darker hair. And but it's all, it's like the unspoken thing. Because you watch a movie like that, you're 10 years old and it's the 80s and you go, oh, this movie has a pretty good value system. Like it taught me not to go for this judge a book by its cover, because why, this Daphne, you can fall for these things and like, but it's Boof that I want. She's my best buddy. That's Teen Wolf, the original movie.
Well, it says once you become fully, it's saying like hero's journey wise, like once you become fully self-actualized, that's when you get to have a girl. When in real life,
exactly,
the thing
it's
of
a
like
reward.
Becoming a real person
that's
is like,
exactly the point.
Having a girl in your life who makes you smarter.
It's a reward.
Forget about the way Miller. We've always known that Budweiser was lying to us by telling us that if we drank Budweiser, we'd get laid. Like we've all been smart enough to know that. We've made fun of that if we're over a certain tax bracket or IQ. But the thing that I think the smartest of us got away with not thinking about is that idea that part of fulfillment in general, spiritual fulfillment even, is acquisition of a female. Is like a coupling up, and it's whatever. Okay, we did a good job.
That's the thing in every mythology. It's coming back from like there's the oneness, and then in the Adam and Eve story, it's like God makes man androgynous, and then they split apart, and then the whole journey is like they're half of each other, and then they have to come back and realize and then like the father and the I'm mixing things, but like the father and the mother are the same thing. It's all the oneness. That's like when you become fully self-actualized, and the fulfillment of the self is realizing the male and female in those heteronormative terms are two parts of the one.
Yeah. And there's a syndrome there, because I don't know why I'm bothering to even look out at a landscape of shit as if I didn't write a pilot where Joel McHale plays a guy who the thing that is driving him is he's trying to fuck Britta, so he's doing everything that all of my sexual role models did in the movies that I grew up on that socialized me, which is he's lying to a woman to try to trick her into fucking him, because if he does that, he'll be happier. And it's romantic because he look how befuddled and what a crazy tangled web he's weaving. Oh, you men, you're willing to do so much just to get that sweet pussy. It's like I looked at it as like oh well, this is what drives us all. It's like wanting a hamburger.
Right.
So I'm worried about writing a sitcom. What's motivating this protagonist? So I did the same thing in the 21st century that I had grown up on, which is just like. And
but
if you
ultimately make it clear that the superior male role model is Abed, like over Jeff, who doesn't have those same, like as the two parts of that male part Not that Abed is specific. I don't
Maybe
know.
throughout the lifetime of the show, but
I'm explaining your
the
show
first
to
6
you.
episodes of that show are just
Right.
basically like the same old John Hughes / Kevin Smith / whatever. It's just you're a man. You want to get that woman. But part of that I think that's like guys like me that are just like, well, I want to write a TV show. I want to write a movie. I need to motivate this character. It's like, oh, well, let's put a bone in front of the dog so it goes around the whole circle, and like not realizing that you're fundamentally like, you're not even like, you're going to work with a box around you that you didn't even know you had around you, like, and then you think you're making these decisions, but you're like inside this box. Anyways, I'm glad this topic is unavoidable. I'm glad that we've talked about it consistently for the last fucking whatever. I hope we talk about it for another year. And if you hate every time it comes up, then you're a rapist.
And I hope we keep talking about it as a group of white men.
Yeah, I hope every time we do it,
I'm serious.
I hope someone ends the conversation with that punchline.
No, I'm serious.
Oh, I thought you were.
I'm going to have it. If we start talking about this, if there's a not white guy on stage, I'm going to shut it down.
All right. Yeah.
Because what more can we add to the perspective?
I've been.
Let's not even talk about a woman, a not white guy.
Sweetie, we're trying to do a show.
Yeah, I've been doodling over here. I drew a kind of a bad giraffe. I drew, I think, like some sort of prince with a turban on his head.